Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism, and this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Anonymous, and here's her story. Hello, Ollie. I am in the process of disowning my family, my father and siblings especially, but the extended ones too. All of them have to be cut out, even if there are a few individuals who are decent or likable people. For the most part, my family are narcissists, opportunists, sellouts, traitors, etc. I regret not doing it much sooner. I had this brainwashed mentality that my family may not be perfect, but you need to accept them and tolerate them. Keep telling you. Watch my previous video. Even though it's political, it's the same thing. Doing that only held me back even more. It explains, too, why it would not have been possible to marry and have children when I was younger, because I look at it now and there was no way I would want my man and my children on his side of the family around that. I especially need to ghost my dad because he's very controlling over me. I had a plan and chose to go live in Prague. I made the mistake of telling others while I was still living in Miami, and my dad found out. While my grandfather, his dad, was literally on his deathbed at such a sensitive time, he talked me into going to Madrid instead of Prague. This may seem in the guise of because it is what it is. It is what is best for me. In reality, it was 100% about himself. He's a very selfish man. Also because of the ancestry, Spanish being his native language and having a few members of the family living there. I did research for Spanish English teaching, and he did not like the setup after 2 years, so I still don't. After so much research, I chose Prague for many reasons and even had a good rapport with the owner of the English teaching school there and even made a $400 down payment. This did not matter to my father. I am a nice, peaceful, and easygoing person, and my aggressive family members exploit that part of me. Then I went to Madrid, and I am not happy here, and have had problems with the English teaching infrastructure. My dad's response to that is not to worry that he will financially take care of me, only because he does not want me to go to Eastern Europe to look for an English teaching job there. While he was talking me to going to Spain, he bribed me and said if I decided to go to Prague, he would not support me. This was while my grandfather was in his deathbed. Right. You don't see what he's doing here? What he did here, Anonymous? He sees his father dying on his deathbed. I don't hear of anything of him taking care of his father on his deathbed. What does his concern go to as his father's dying on his deathbed? Who's going to take care of me when I die? You. That's what this is all about. That's what it's usually about. The indentured servant is supposed to be there to take care of the narcissist on their deathbed. Your father obviously didn't want this fucking responsibility. He don't like it. He don't like seeing his father die. Like, well, who would? But your father doesn't like it, not for the reasons that every other normal person would not like it. Your father is looking at it and thinking of his own death. Everything the narcissist gives you comes with strings. Everything is a seed to be sprung up with. All of it. You should have stayed in fucking Miami. You should have stayed here. You should have stayed here. You know what you could be doing in Miami right now? I mean, first of all, we're free in Florida. Miami is now booming. He saw his father on his deathbed and immediately thought to himself, I gotta take care of this right now. Just to point out, my parents are divorced. Oh, thank you. Yeah. So obviously he's divorced. Your mother's not. So what did he do? Divorce your mother, marry you? Just to point out, my parents are divorced and I've been cut off from my mom for many years. Both my parents married quickly after their divorce when I was 3 years old, and both of my step-parents are very psychologically abusive to me throughout my whole life. My parents did not nurture me. They never had me put in extracurricular activities, even though they could afford it. Whenever I would talk to my dad about me being abused, he taunts me about hanging on to the past and gets angry. Playbook. Narcissism 101. They don't want to be confronted with what they've done. He always yells at me. I'm embarrassed of myself of tolerating all this that I knew was wrong. I thought I was keeping the peace, but of course, people who are not with good conscience will eventually make your life unpleasant to the point where inevitably the ties and contacts will need to be cut off. Yeah, but at what cost? At what cost to you? How many years wasted? How many years of your life, of your prime years wasted? Because that's all they want to do is waste your prime. That's all they want to do is waste your prime so you can take care of them. Obviously, your stepmother, if they're still married, he has no confidence in her to take care of, to nurture him. That's weird. So if you weren't abused and she wasn't this abusive, non-nurturing person, then what does he need you around for? He made his bed, let him die in it. I've said it over and over and over again. They made their bed, let him die in it. I thought I was keeping the peace, but of course, people who are not with good conscience will eventually make your life unpleasant to the point where inevitably the ties and contacts will need to be cut off. He's also been using finances to keep me around this long, and it's not like he gives me that much money anyway. He gives me a pittance amount. And again, I wish I could have done it many years sooner. Now I'm in Europe and I'm planning to go back to the States to an undisclosed location as soon as possible, and to seek help from NAMI, National Alliance for Mental Illness, as I will need assistance to get back on my feet again. I suffer from PTSD and on the autism spectrum. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Sincerely, Anonymous. Well, Anonymous, I would recommend you coming back to Florida, because even here, there's not too many other places. There are not too many places with freedom to go to. These people are a playbook. Whenever something is happening with the narcissist, where they're trying to get you to move somewhere, go somewhere, do something, you have to drill down and figure out why. The answer was right in front of your face. Your grandfather's on his deathbed. He's thinking about his own mortality. He's thinking about his own deathbed. He knows if you're still married to your stepmother, he knows he ain't getting any nurturing on his deathbed from her. So what does he do? Makes you change your whole life to go move someplace you didn't want to go move to. That's what forgive and forget gets you. That's what forgive and forget gets you. Every time. Every time. Because when you forgive and forget the narcissist's actions, you don't find out the consequences and the motives for years later. And by that time, you've wasted so much time, which is what the narcissist wanted to do anyway, is waste your prime. So I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution and story, Anonymous. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype phone call, have a private video made, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care.